Hey there, YouTubers. Thanks for tuning back into another video. Big weekend, a lot going on, but I had a little time to work on the hatchback as well. So I wanted to catch you up on the progress and let you know what's going on. So let's go ahead and roll the intro and get this party started. So previously with the F22 hatch, I got a motor. I picked it up from a local like auto parts salvage yard, and we started like tearing into it. So the camshaft was the first thing we pulled out once we got it on the stand. And I'll flip the camera around here and we'll just kind of walk around it and I'll talk to you and we'll go on from there. So what we ended up picking up was a 93 LX Honda Accord engine. This is the F22 A1. I actually have an F22 A6 that I'm picking up a couple days. Today's Sunday, so we'll pick it up on Wednesday. And that'll end up being a different little side item because we need some parts off of it. But we pulled the camshaft out and we sent it off to Rocket Motorsports. So they're regrinding the camshaft to a custom regrind. And the reason we wanted the F22 A6 block was because of the fact that it has a little bit more meat on the lobes. So in the future, once we get this ironed out, we should have a pretty decent single camshaft to go back into the motor. So in the time being, we've also got a set of custom Wiseco pistons that are on the way now. The camshaft's probably another 2 weeks, 3 weeks out. The pistons are probably another 5 weeks out. We did that last week at the beginning. So within a month and a half, we should have some items here all stitched up. Also, in addition to that, we're not going to use the Cheetah's Auto F22K adapter. FabMD is actually going to take an F22 manifold. I'll flip the camera here. So they're going to take our F22 manifold, lob the runners, the flange here, still this part, and then we're going to attach a K-Series RBC manifold. So I've got some pictures using that Cheetah's Auto adapter I'll put in here so you guys can kind of like get a visual of what I'm talking about. And that's ultimately what we're trying to achieve. So pistons, the camshaft, the rods, all that's figured out. The block fill, it's all figured out. The other, the intake manifolds figured out. H2B kit, F2B kit's figured out. FabMD, Infamous Motorsports, they're going to be building a turbo kit around this thing. So if at all possible, we're going to do a dual back door. It's going to be a top mount. I have a 62 millimeter SXE 362 from Borg Warner that we're going to use. And hopefully this fits nicely into that 62 millimeter class I was telling you that Clifford was originally going to be built for. So with all of this kind of coming to light a month and a half from now, I'm not ready to put my money on it, but I feel like 60 days, 90 days from now, we might have a finished product. So time to get the rear in gear and just lay out the sauce and, you know, just do it to it. So while all that's been going on, I took on a little side project here. So I'm going to show you guys the little, you know, teal green color engine bay is no more. So without any further ado, I'm going to flip the camera and show you what I've been working on. So guys, it's not green. It's black. What I've done here is I've actually used, it's a Rust-Oleum's truck bed coating that you can get from Walmart. You can probably get it from other department stores. It's not something that's super expensive. Somebody had previously done something, I think, with a different product, Brandon did. So I picked this up and it's real thin. I did a little bit of a process that I'll walk you through here in just a minute. And, you know, I think it came out well. So here, after I walk you through it, we'll go through kind of the aftermath and what I kind of think about it and what I think I could have done differently to have a better outcome. So what I'm going to do now is show you the product and we'll get right into it. So what we have here, as I mentioned, is the Rust-Oleum truck bed coating. It's aerosol can. This is a 15-ounce can. I ended up using 3 of them. A 4th would have been beneficial. The application instructions state that you want to use this in an area that's, you know, of proper temperature, allow for 1 or more, let's see, 1 hour or after 24 hours, allow 72 hours for full cure. To do individual coats, I did them a couple minutes apart. So you guys can read this here as it's on the screen as well, but it's not very expensive. So what we ended up with was $6.97 a piece for these. So at $7, 3 cans, $21. I also picked up some acetone, and I did this just as to have on hand, you know, for like a cleaner, so I could wipe everything down. I also got 2 drop cloths and some masking tape. So altogether, this cost me $37. And it all kind of started out in a process. So I've got some photos from the day that I did it. I didn't record anything because I didn't want to damage any equipment. And I wasn't exactly sure how the process was going to work. So what we started out doing was I took everything out of the engine bay. So once I got it all bare, and by bare, I mean like no fuse box, everything's off the firewall, the brake booster, the master cylinder for the brake system, the clutch master cylinder, all that's off. I pushed everything further forward and I taped off the heater core piece here. And I just tried to keep it as bare. The struts that are in it, they don't care. These are like monster truck stuff that's coming off of it. But I wanted to get it as bare. So all the nuts and all the bolts and all the little brackets and things that I could actually remove, I did. From that point, I started degreasing it. And once I got it all clean, I went into water sanding it. And I actually got a little help because it started raining on me on Saturday whenever I was doing this. But the way that I started water sanding, I just hit the high spots. So like you can see here that there's still some like imperfections where I didn't get, you know, all of the bare part down. But then at the same time, you can see where I kind of oversprayed and dry sprayed because I was running out of paint. So on the second coat, whenever I mentioned you could use a 4th can, it's because I didn't have enough to fully cover all the areas. So I started trying to hit the high spots. So it took me probably the better part of a half hour to pull everything off. You got to shimmy up under the dash to remove the brake booster. You guys can find this stuff in like 24 different YouTube videos. So I didn't really want to walk through it and try to film it standing on my head, especially since it was raining and I was trying to get this done in a quick manner. But it's not very complex. Take it all apart, pull the throttle cable, pull all the master cylinder bolts, the booster bolts from the backside of it. And then once it's all out, I just started taping it up. And I just followed the little frame rail here, so that way I didn't get anything over on my electrical. And I actually went ahead and pulled the remainder of the headlight harness. On an EK, it actually clips on both sides. So on the other side, I just unclipped it and took it loose, fished it back through. I'd put a radiator support in this car last year, so a lot of the brackets and stuff I had reattached and I was familiar with the routing. So I just unrouted it, pulled it back, and then stuck it over here inside the car. So then whenever I laid on my masking tape, I didn't have to worry about any of it getting painted. However, I probably should have painted some of it. And I've even got some paint over here on the booster. So a little touch up and some detail work left to go. Oh, there's some more right there. But overall, I just wanted to get it as bare as I possibly could. Keeping it bare allowed me to be able to water sand it. You know, there's a lot of little small spots that I needed to get in and little nooks and crannies where they had painted it green already. And I didn't really care about like doing a you know, paint quality shiny finish. So I started out with this Gator 150 and then, you know, just went ham on it and scuffed everything as close to bare metal as I could. In a lot of the areas that were, you know, light paint, and then just laid down the paint. So 2 coats in, it took me about 30 minutes. I shut up the garage, turned on the AC unit to try to remove some of the humidity, and then I just went to town. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think it's going to be something that's probably a little resistant to, you know, damage and nicks and, you know, wrenches and stuff in the future. So I believe it'll work out, and Brandon's car's had a similar product in it and seems to be holding up well. So as I kind of progress on putting it back together, follow me on Instagram so you guys can keep up with the photos and the momentary, like, you know, stuff that I don't put in videos. And I was noticing today that in order to run the intercooler, to do a back door, we're probably going to end up having to cut out here and over here a little bit. And by doing that, I'm probably going to have to touch this up. I also plan on running a Sirocco radiator, and I still have the factory little brackets. So this is for the factory radiator. and this one were for the little condenser fan. So these are spot welded on. You can take them off, move them around, tack them back on, and all of that will allow me to kind of reposition it for that other Sirocco radiator. So guys, you know, catching you up a little bit, we've got a lot to do. I've got a couple more surprises that I'm working on. Trying to put stuff together, trying to hustle, trying to fund this build. So if there's anything that you've got questions about, leave me a message in the comment sections or send me a DM on Instagram, Seth Church Vid, and we'll catch you guys here in the next video. So Tuesday night, a couple days from now, we're going to have another dyno night at Raw Performance. Should be a peppy little EG hatch. So subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.